So quickly went to gym early morning, and this is real time flying. It's quite misty in George this morning on this Sunday. So the weather is not so much accurate as what I thought it would be, because this was real life and real time and real weather, and it's a little bit over foggy on the right hand side, but it's actually in real life, totally foggy weather. So we're taking off here by Denneoord. I'm going to show you guys quickly the Sampieshoogte mountain bike trail. Usually we run it, and I'm going to make just a U-turn towards the Blue Dam. It's a quarry that's full of water. So I'm taking, off at the northern side of the Denneoord landing strip. You'll see on the left we got Eden, and then on the right is a lot of trails that people usually ride with their bicycles and running. So I'm gonna now head towards Witfontein Nature Reserve. Should be on your right hand side. One thing that I have to tell you guys is the TV tower is not accurate. There's no physical tower, but the antenna is missing, but the building structure is there. On your left you'll see Eden and Lurie Park, and then you'll see that's the school. There's a school. It's Van Carroll. No, it's not Van Carroll School, but you see on the left you'll see the waterworks of Denneoord, known landmark for cyclists. And on your left you'll see another build. There we go, it's the waterworks building. And on your left you'll see Eden, and you'll see in your field of view, that's the TV tower in the mountain. It's quite a landmark, but there's no antenna. So yeah, that's the only thing missing on Flight Simulator. You should see the aerial, the big tower. You only see the building. Alright, so now we're heading to the nature reserve, to the Witfontein Forestry. Usually here you climb up towards the George Peak and Kraddock Peak. So I'm gonna see if I can make a sharp left turn towards Witfontein Nature Reserve. I'm gonna go past the quarry. In front of you you'll see the Outeniqua Pass, and this is real-time weather. You'll see the fog started to clear up. You'll see here is the trails that you can run, you can walk towards the tower, and that eventually goes to George Peak as well. So I'm going to make a turn left. You'll see the railway and the Outeniqua Pass in front of you. Quite a very nice pass. You'll see the Montague Pass. I will take you one day to the Old Troll House and the Montague Pass. I'm going to make a right turn now, left turn I mean, towards the Blue Dam and Witfontein Nature Reserve. And it's not so much wind this morning, and you can see it's a cold start to the morning. There on the left you'll see Witfontein Nature Reserve, and you will see one of the trails here, the bicycle trails on your left. There is the Blue Dam. It is a quarry. It's one of the sand quarries that filled up with water. On your left you'll see it's a popular spot where people go to swim. It's crystal blue water. It might be the elements in the water of a quarry that made the water blue. That is Witfontein Nature Reserve. You'll see the start of the walking trails. That's a blue, we call it the blue ocean. And then on the left hand side, the Blue Dam and on the left you'll see Witfontein Nature Reserve. On your right you'll see Planku and Happy Valley, and then you'll see a lot of, that's the Virgin Active Circle, Eva Park, and we're flying now towards, you see on your left you'll see the you see that contour lines, that's Sampie's well, not Sampie's but it's actually part of a cycle trail and running trail. And here we lived, my parents had a house, I'm going to show you, just there where that dot is, there by the far east side of Havilands. They call it Glenbarrie. That exactly where that pointer is now, that's where their house was, but they unfortunately sold it. It's a mistake, because you can actually, it's a very nice place, and that's called Glenbarrie. So on the left you'll see the nature reserve still, and it's quite a sunny day. On the right hand side you'll see Eden, and the waterworks in front of you again with the Otaniqua Mountains lighting up the cause the shadow over the sun rays. So I'm gonna have to make a steep turn in order to go land on the runway again, but the runway, I never landed on this runway like this before, so I don't think it's gonna be doable, but let's try. The Cessna is unfortunately a little bit too light, because my altitude is too low and my speed is too low to make to climb high enough for the mountain tops. Okay, so I'm making I don't think I'm gonna have to overshoot this runway. It's too fast and too low. There's the waterworks again, George Eden on your right hand side. You see that's the water treatment plants. You see the shadows, the cloud cover over the ocean there by Wilderness. So I'm gonna shoot through to the Denneoord Mall. I'm gonna make a U-turn and come parallel with the airport again. Airstrip, there's the airstrip, cross airstrip. So let's see if we can do it like that. You see, okay, now that's Lavalia, we're flying over Lavalia, and that's a big that's Lurie Park, and that's a big Pick-a-Pay. And then we're gonna, Knysna Way would be on your left. You'll see the main road of Knysna, okay, Knysna Way going towards York Street in George. Big Pick-a-Pay, Lavalia, we're flying over the Lavalia now, and then flying over Lavalia, we'll see Lurie Park and the Denneoord Dam on your left. That's a big Pick-a-Pay. This is Lavalia. Lavalia neighbourhood, merging towards the mall, and then we're gonna have to make a steep left turn, 30-degree left turn towards the runway. You'll see on the left we got Glenwood School and the Glenwood neighbourhood. So making a steep left turn towards the airfield, and we're gonna, unfortunately I crashed on this landing. I've learned my lesson, because I went with idle speed less than 1000 RPM, and then I didn't calculate the runway enough, and then as soon as I put my flaps to 10 degrees, and then when I powered up the airplane, it actually nosedived into the ground. So I was unfortunately not killed, but I was injured in this end of this flight. So I'm on my way to a medical professional to go and see if they could save me. You see, this is my wrong. I didn't approach the runway correctly, and this caused a lot of mistakes. Flying over the neighbourhoods now. Little bit of turbulence there. I shot the runway perfectly. My problem is I was on idle speed and I was going in too low. I should have nosedived a little bit more in order to get towards the runway. Okay, you see now I'm powering up, and this is where my mistake was. I powered up with my flaps, and then I just nosedive I think what happened is my airplane hit a tree branch. Bah, bam. End of me.